Well, good evening, guys. It might sound a little silly using our little microphones, but we're recording this for posterity's sake. So it's got to go to the camera, so we'll just pretend like it's a big old coliseum of thousands if you'll just put up with this. I think I met everybody. Again, I'm Tom Hypes. I'm the pastor here at the church, and it's our honor to be able to host tonight's event. Remember, it's been about 2 years ago that I became a fanatic for J Gumbo's. I remember seeing it at its other location a little bit further down. How long ago did you switch over?
3 years.
3 years. So I remember 3 years ago, instead of 2 years ago. But going in, like sampling and whatnot, that's one of my favorite things about J Gumbo's was the sampling, that I can find things that I like. And now we're all like hooked, my wife, my daughter, all of us. And so we're down there quite a bit. But I think one of the other things that we really liked about J Gumbo's was also the community aspect and the way that they invest into the community down in Delaware. I think our favorite event so far was with Creative Foundations. They had the art evening where you could go down and buy art with some of the residents from Creative Foundations who work with different qualities. We got 2 different original pieces and also a original bag that my daughter has that we love. And so I also got roped into an ice cream challenge one time. So that was part of the community. You can laugh because you would think a guy my size would actually have a chance of winning. I was knocked out very quickly. It was good ice cream and it was free. But my hope was I just always kind of wished that it was up here, though. From us, we're in Waldo's. It's only a 15-minute trip. But to be able to see that in our community, not just food-wise, but that kind of community support is something that we've always kind of want to be part of. So when Richard and I were talking about something like this, we jumped on very quickly. So we're thrilled to be able to host this. So I'm just going to kind of open this up in prayer because I'm a pastor and you're in the church. That's what you get. And then Richard's going to come up and start sharing what he has for you tonight. So, dear Father, I just pray that this is just a time that we just hear a vision and hear a dream, Father. I do believe that you put on my brother's heart, not just for food, not just for business, not just supporting the family, but to make a difference within the community, Lord. And just the great testimonies that have already come into place, Father, are encouraging enough to whet the appetite of us to want something like that in Marion. So I just pray that you be with my brother, give him clarity, let him just have a great time just being able to share his heart tonight and what's going on, and just be with each of us and just kind of move us the way that you would on what participation we may or may not have within that, as we just want to support this guy in this dream. And we pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank y'all for coming out again this evening. For those of you who haven't met, and I'm sorry I didn't get your name. I apologize. Mary, nice to meet you, Mary. I'm Richard Upton. As Tom said, he's been following us around for about 3 years. And just briefly, so I won't bore you, we had 3 or 4 videos, total less than 30 minutes, and it tells the story better than I'm going to articulate it, and it'll let you know a little bit about us, our history, and what our mission and our passion is. And basically, some of the folks, you'll meet them all here. Hopefully tonight they'll be serving you afterwards. How J Gumbo's came about, which it's a franchise. We're a franchise restaurant. I was clueless about J Gumbo's. My wife, there in the back, she actually had taken me to the first one. Her boss's boss and her former work life was a real deal Cajun, and J Gumbo's was the closest thing he had. I'm also cheap, so a Groupon popped up about the same time, so I figured, hey, if it's no good, I'm only out half the money. But also, I'm pretty inquisitive. So when we go places, I was just kind of watching what was going on. I was asking a lot of questions, and I thought, hey, this would be kind of cool for my guys because I'm also what's called an independent provider. I contract with the state of Ohio to work with folks with developmental disabilities. And when I moved to Delaware in 2009, one of the first guys I got hooked up with was my buddy Joe here. And Joe was working at a shelter workshop, and it's there's a place, there's all different types of agencies and different things out there for folks with disabilities, but in my opinion Joe was not seeing his potential. He was bored. He was again, give him somewhere to go every day, give his parents a little peace of mind during the day, or just a little peace, but wanted to find something else to do. And his dad, which is there in the back, we were always kicking around ideas of what kind of things we could come up with, what type of businesses, so that folks could be involved and that they could do things. And J Gumbo's just happened to be one of those things that fell on the plate. And being a franchise, it's already a business model that's established for the things I was looking for. ease of operation, safety. I wanted to concentrate more on what I call the soft skills or the back of the house stuff. I just didn't want people out cleaning tables and saying hi. I wanted them to actually be engaged with the customers. I want them to learn to do as much in a business as they wanted to do. And the business model of J. Gumbo's kind of set that up. So, fast forward to 2012, and we opened up in downtown Delaware. One thing that happened to us right out the gate, and it just worked out great because that's the way life rolls. A week before we were scheduled to open, Joe and I were actually going. He was winning a statewide award, and we were going to collect that award. It was the same day that Governor Kasich signed something called Employment First into existence. And realistically, Employment First sounded like a good thing. You would think folks would be working. Basically, it just put the kibosh on everything that we had put in the works. And because I'd also work with Ann, who's up here, they run another agency in Delaware and Westerville, and soon to be, if not already, in Marion, called Life Builders, where it's a rehabilitation program for individuals. And Joe and Brad are both part of that. So we kind of figured, how can we still keep this from falling apart? Get people employed, get people some training, give them some opportunity, get them out in the community, and we came up with that, the idea of us merging together and coming up with something called the BELL program, which is Business Education Learning Liaisons, where it was more than just coming in and bussing tables for 2 hours. It was a job. In most cases, some people were in training, but it was a job where they got paid. It's a job where, they're going to be engaged and they're going to be challenged and they're going to be a part of everything that goes on. They're going to have the accountability, the responsibility. And one of my goals were to do 5 of these in 5 years. And I knew that was pretty lofty, especially since, and I see a banker just walked in. I didn't have any money, so I was constantly going to the bankers to beg for money. But we got it going, and our mission is stayed the same. We just kind of persevered along with the state, even though that, things didn't happen. Now, nearly 6 years later, they finally come on board with some different programs that we qualify for and we can do. And there's some other things, since I think part-time, some folks were sitting back seeing if we were really serious and if we were going to hang around and keep this going. So we kind of stuck with our mission. And so I don't dwell too much, and I apologize. Feel free to stop me if I bounce around. Say we have some videos. So basically, if Tom, you'll do the first video, well, it'll tell the story. In this video, before he starts, it's something that we just put together a few months ago, starring Joe and Brad. We have also entered different contests trying to earn money and get notoriety. We're in a contest now with SCORE, Senior Corps Retired Executives, and Sam Club. They actually bankrolled it, trying to earn us $25,000 to help with the business. And we're still waiting to hear there were over 1,600 people that entered. We're still part of it when they narrowed it down to 102, and they're going to have 3 grand champions that they will give $25,000 each for their businesses. And so we're waiting to hear word if we're going to be lucky enough to be one of those folks. Hopefully we'll hear that tomorrow. But the first one, like I say, another one of our customers, we've been blessed with some great customers that some have loved ones with developmental disabilities, some don't. They just like what we do. They love the food and they like the sense of community. And we'll just put the word out for stuff and they just jump on board. So professional videographer put together this first video. His name is Josh Thornton. So we'll show you that one and then we'll talk very briefly about that one.
Working in a restaurant can be a first step towards independence for many of us as we go through life. But too many people in our community can't find that independence because of a disability that is misunderstood. Here at the Delaware J. Gumbos, we know with a little understanding and mentorship, people of all abilities can work towards being independent. Our mission is to be an integral part of the community, and it is important to work with other companies and organizations with similar values, whether it be for staffing, shopping, marketing, or whatever the need may be. When we work together, we strengthen each other. The vision for this restaurant has always been about more than just great food. We want it to be a reflection of our community, kind of like how meals at the dinner table can be a snapshot of the family.
And of course, we have great Cajun foods here too.
Absolutely, Joe. Our original plan was for the restaurant to pay for itself, and then a training program would generate income to help pay the staff, me, and to perpetuate itself and keep bringing folks in, get them trained, get them employed, and move them out. We don't have a closed loop where you're here for 90 days and you got to go. But when they're ready, we want to move them on to bigger and better things. We got another video, and we'll show that. That one's a little longer. It's about 5 minutes. That one was done by another fellow, Ryan Bell, who was looking for to start his business. Again, he's another Delaware guy. And so he had a contest. I told him, hey, we may not win the contest, but I want to talk to you about having you shoot a video for us. And we told him, he learned our story. He's like, forget the contest, we'll do it for you. I'm going to come and do one. He actually came in on a Sunday, which we're normally not open on Sundays, but we were doing a fundraiser for a young lady trying to earn money to do a summer internship at Brown University. He stayed with us. I figured he'd come in for an hour or so, talk to people, shoot some stuff. He was there. When I pulled up, he would stay there until I'm cleaning up and ready to go, and did a great job on the video. It's got Joe's in there. It's got a couple other people. So we also kind of expanded into working with folks with mental illness. It just kind of, like I say, it just kind of evolved. So like say, the food, the one thing you'll see food in here, and the food is great. I think pretty much everybody has had it. I am partial, but I think it's great. But it goes well beyond that. So the second video, like I say, it was a Sunday afternoon. This was just a real deal. A lot of folks, the mother of the young lady is part of the video, and just different people from J Gumbo's talking about, why they love J Gumbo's and why they love what we do. So any questions so far? Nope. Okay. Let's go to the second one, Tom.
Hello, my name is Richard Upton. I'm the owner of J Gumbo's here in Delaware, Ohio. We are a Cajun and Creole quick service restaurant. We've been here, we're starting on our 4th year. We're pretty much just a little quick service. It's a come-in family style restaurant. We cater to the college kids when we're in season and to families with small children. But of course, our doors are open to everyone. We really try to get to know our customers. We really try to have a good time. Because we are it's a Cajun style New Orleans based restaurant, so we want our place to be fun and festive.
I really enjoy this type atmosphere, the music, and I have celiac. I'm allergic to gluten. There's not a whole lot I can eat out. I can eat about half of this menu.
My husband and I come to J Gumbo because first of all, we love the food, but second of all, we love the vision that Richard has for hiring people with special needs. We think it's an important work that he's doing in the community, and we want to support it.
Our other mission here is to work with folks with developmental disabilities and mental illness, and to help them give them some self-esteem, give them some training, give them a start so they can go out and work in the community like the rest of us.
I think in this field right now, everyone is trying to get independence for the individuals that we serve, and a lot of that includes employment, and that's one of the things that Richard is emphasizing. He's trying to help individuals be employable.
J Gumbo's is special to me because it's as a place where I can work, where I feel safe, even with my mental illnesses and everything. Richard's very understanding and everything. I have borderline personality disorder, so I don't, in high-stress jobs, I tend to freak out. But this is a very low-key, very relaxed, very chill place to work, and it allows people with those kinds of disabilities to really blossom and really work hard.
I'm Joe, and I've been here since 3 years. I do a little bit of everything, and I earned a State of Ohio award with Richard. I always be with him because he was my provider. I've been voted for him for the provider of the year.
At one point, there was a revenue stream for businesses, an inducement for them to bring folks in, get them trained, give them extra love and support. those fundings, like a lot of things going on around us, have went away, so those types of jobs have went away. So we came up with a program called BELL, Business Education Learning Liaison, that I have formed with a couple other ladies that have a day affiliation program, and we kind of just came together where we were going to take folks out of their program and bring them over into the restaurant and give them some additional trainings. Unfortunately, once we opened with the BELL program, the type of funding streams that we thought we would qualify for, there was a massive change from the Fed level down as to how funding would happen. So the funding that we were planning for dried up literally as we were opening our doors. We continued on now to do everything we can to take folks in, but unfortunately, without the funding, I can't necessarily afford to bring in 4, 5, 6 people at a time and train them, especially on payroll. Additional funding will help free up time and finances to be able to expand the restaurant. Part of that, marketing, get more people coming in, spending money, which means we're going to have a need for more staff, and we can dedicate those slots to the individuals that we've been working with. The good thing is they get the great training from a group of people that love them and support them, and we also, we're not just gifting money. They're going to be working and earning income and contributing in their community right away. Come in and try the food. We got something for 98%. I won't say everybody will love it. 98% of you come in from extremely mild and tasty to extremely flavorful and tasty, spicy. We got it all. The food is great. Come in, check it out, meet some of our folks.
Okay, I haven't watched that one for a while. That's pretty cool. That one actually tells the whole story, so I don't need to talk anymore. But like I say, it's seriously, that's, what we're about. You got to be, from a business, you have to be about business. You got to, I know here in Marion, just like say we went looking for a restaurant the other day and found out it's not here. A couple of weeks ago, we looked for another one, it's not here. And that's a fear that a lot of folks have. How can you, what makes you think you will make it? Number one, we have a proven business model. We've been doing it, and again, it's not, like I say, I got a 17-year-old Ford out front, we're not driving around in Mercedes, but we're still, it's coming along, and the folks have supported us. And I think the reason that Marion has been on the radar for a couple of years and why I like it now, number one, the downtown is going through a renaissance. You don't see it today, but there's all kinds of planning going on for things to happen there. Out on 95, it's always banging out there. For our core customer base. We can, everybody asks, who's your target audience? Realistically, our target audience, I can say it truthfully, can be anybody. But the nice thing is, we have a niche product in our food, but it has a broad appeal. And the nice thing that, one thing you don't show in the videos, like I said, but we did talk about, we target families with small kids. We have, like I said, and I have a 6-year-old, so that one was kind of, I know as a parent of a young child trying to go out to eat, number one, the cost can be tight. We always feed, when you dine in, you don't have coupons, kids eat off the kids' meal for free. It's not costing us that much. We can do that and still make money. With kids, a lot of kids, they don't ask to go to McDonald's or Wendy's. They ask to go to J. Gumbo's because we have a good time. We have, and I didn't bring that video, but you can check out our Facebook page. We had a back-to-school party for the little ones this past Saturday, and the kids that came in, they loved it, and the staff put it together. I didn't, I just said, make it appropriate, make it fun. They did it. It was great. The kids came in. The parents loved it, and it was a good time. So basically, we want to bring that to Marion. And the timing, I say, was good because now there is some different funding streams out there, and there is some collaborations, and people, sometimes we have to explain to people how we can work together and make things work for everybody, where it reduces costs for everybody, it can be profitable for everybody. The one thing that I've found, like say with our, certain things are self-serving, we don't work with folks with developmental disability because, that's going to make, this person more attracted to us. However, people do like to see individuals in their community catch a break. And we've gotten supported, as Tom said earlier, we do a lot of stuff with Creative Foundations. They're another rehabilitation program. They do a little bit of everything in the next block, but they actually have a wood shop now. A guy that Rick brought into the restaurant a year or so ago gave us all these cool Mardi Gras posters. And they actually professionally framed them, stained them. They look great. We got those up around the restaurant. They got about 3 or 4 more of those to do. We've worked with different organizations, not just folks with developmental disabilities. I mean, we donate money to different charities. Like I say, a lot of folks leave tips, even though we're not a tip-driven restaurant. Everybody gets paid, a regular rate. We donate money to different charity groups to support different things around town. Those are things that, we'll continue to do at Marion. And those are the type of things that hopefully keep you on the top of mind of people when they're thinking, hey, I'm going to go out and spend my money. Let's go here, get a good meal. But we're also keeping that money in the community, keeping it going, and helping, some folks, at the same time. So it's a win-win-win all the way around. So how we're going to do it, before I go into a lot of talking, we got one more video. It's actually from a couple years ago from Fox News. They've given us not as much as I would like, but they give us some love every so often. And Tom Bosco lives in Delaware, and so often I'll get him to do something. He came out, unfortunately, like with the news, they got to whittle it down to about 1 minute. He was there for a good solid hour and a half, did some great interviews, met some folks. But again, when they gave it to the producers, they cut out some of the real cool parts. But what we're doing is the same thing, and I'll let you watch the story, and then I'll elaborate on it, and then we'll have questions, and I'll introduce you to Ann, and then we'll eat.
Crowdfunding is when a business or charity takes to the internet to drum up support and, more importantly, money from the public. Good Day Columbus reporter Tom Bosco shows us how a local restaurant is putting a new twist on the trend.
The food is spicy Cajun cooking, not your average fast casual. The mission is out of the ordinary too, not just turning a profit, but helping those with special needs.
I thought it would be a great opportunity to be able to bring in some folks with developmental disabilities and get them trained and get them employed.
Richard Upton runs the J Gumbos in Delaware. Now he's taking his restaurant up the street in hopes that the change of scenery helps improve business.
Let's see our room straight back here.
And helps with his goals of helping those with developmental disabilities. But Richard has to pay down some debt and says the banks are still tight-fisted when it comes to loaning money to small businesses.
We're in our 3rd year. Struggling as we are, we're still considered a startup.
So he's asking customers to help out. He's selling $100 gift cards, 1,000 of them, to raise $100,000. Here's the catch. Customers have to wait a year to use them. Then they increase in value.
The longer they hold it, just like a savings bond, it's going to continue to grow interest. Instead of paying interest to the bank, we're paying interest back in the form of food.
Employee Joe Sherler can't wait to work in the new restaurant.
It's about working with Richard and been around him.
And he won't have to wait. Customers are already buying the gift cards.
Glad to give him the check today and do this for the community and for the program.
In Delaware, I'm Tom Bosco, Fox 28 News.
That's great. Well, join us.
And that is it in a nutshell. When we did that, when we moved, we were at 12 South Sandusky. We moved to 9 North Sandusky. At the restaurant, the place we went into, it was actually vacant, out of business when I moved to Delaware in 2009. It used to be a tanning salon. So, nice original wood floors with about 1 million holes in them every 2 feet for electric. Place was a mess. Joe brought his crew together, and the place is what it is now. It looks beautiful. And we, like I said, we did that with marginal success, but it was the same thing. So, like I say, if you've done like GoFundMe, if you ever donated, that's kind of where the idea was born out of. The difference between a GoFundMe from a business side, GoFundMe and all those type of sites are businesses. They charge a percentage, on average, of around 8%. So if you were to raise $8,000 or raise $100,000, $8,000, they're going to hold back for themselves. Then, of course, that's taxable income right off the bat. And they also want you to do inducements to the people that donate in the form of, if they donate $25, give them a shirt. If they donate $50, give them this. And where realistically, 25% of the money is gone before you ever get started. And a lot of it's kind of like the way some of our government programs work with folks with disabilities. You have this huge pool of money, but by the time it really dwindles down to the individuals that need it, only about 4 or 5% of it is really hitting where it needs to go. So we kind of put this twist on it. So for two reasons. Number one, as opposed to giving you a shirt, we got shirts we sell all day long, but you like the food, we're going to give you more food. And then in addition, from a tax thing, since we're not, it's not impacting us immediately, it gives us funds to get open, to get going, put money in reserve for when people do cash in the cards and use the cards, which we absolutely want them to do. And it just keeps things going. But again, it keeps that money in the community, and it keeps folks, if folks, $100 may not make or break somebody, but mentally it can keep folks vested in your success. And that's what we want. I mean, I think if we could do 1,000 of these and we have 1,000 people a month that say, hey, I'm gonna go eat there at least once a month to, make sure there's places around to collect. That's at least 10 grand a month that you can count on. 10 grand a month is gonna pay your rent, it's gonna pay your utilities, it's gonna pay at least a week of payroll. So you are already, the ball's rolling every month. You could pretty much count on that. And that's what worked for us the first time that we did this. It absolutely helped. I say we're still now, like a lot of you have probably, had businesses in your life. You always start off with great ideas. You probably start with money in the bank and a great business plan, and then it kind of, once reality hits you, then it kind of goes. So when we first started, things looked great, and some banks did give us a little bit of money, but then just life happens, business happens, the economy happens, and things tightens up. So, like I say, our goal is to bring this to Marion. Our goal is to, like I say, 50% of the folks at least we have on staff, we want to be receiving some type of services or this, not that we're going out seeking folks with disabilities, but we want folks that they're going to have a hard time out because there's always changes, and that cycle is always coming around where the government's going to tighten up, they're going to change the rules, they're going to make it harder on folks. So if we could, jump on that now, get people in, get them going, we could keep going. But as I say, we're looking to have a fun place, a well-run place, a well-respected place, and just we don't want to come here and we want to be serious. So like 100,000 and people, can't you open it for less? I could, but we're also trying to be safe in that. Like I said, we want to have some money in reserves because there's always going to be some lean times. But if we have a year, if we can get going for a year, restaurants, they say 5, 3 years, you start to get okay. 5 years, you should be okay. 7 or 8 years, you're pretty much golden. But you're always still it's gonna ebb and flow because people's tastes change. Somebody new moves in and everybody shifts over there for a couple months. Different things happen, but that's the way it's gonna go. What questions we got? Anybody? Nobody? I know some of you are aware. Matthew, welcome. Matthew is a very well-vested person here in Marion. I just want to see time, how far. I know we started a little bit late. I'm perfect. I know I'm perfect timing. I'd say, Ann, I just want to give her a second, and she brought some information just to kind of briefly tell you about what they're doing, and they run a business here, or they're coming. Are you guys happening yet? Okay, so they're happening here with Life Builders because there's a good chance, that we may team back up again here in Marion just to make it easier on both of us. So take a quick minute and tell folks about Life Builders.
I'm Ann Kelly, and this is Deidre Olney, and like Richard said, we're with Life Builders. We're a supported employment and rehabilitation center, and we have a site in Westerville, Sunbury, and now in Marion. And we've known Richard for a long time. Like Richard said, we worked with him with the Bell program, and we can't really say enough positive things about Richard and what he does for the community that he works with and that the folks that he also employs. He's given back, I know, in Delaware. He didn't mention Ohio Wesleyan, but he's very connected with them. He's very connected with the community members downtown. But he's done some really awesome things for individuals with developmental disabilities. And to see him grow here in Marion it's very much needed. And Richard has a great model in the way that he runs his business, allowing individuals to become very independent. I mean, you can see the videos are really an attestament to what Richard does. They're not predetermined. You know, nobody gets up there and they don't practice any of that. It's real. It's real what he does. So we're happy to have known Richard for as long. I don't know, what, 5 years, 6 years, maybe longer than that. Yeah, and so we're excited that, you know, the potential, you know, for a J Gumbo's to open in Marion is going to happen because, like he said, both Joe and Brad attend Life Builders on days. Sometimes Joe's not with us because Joe's in and around doing things with Richard. Having him become more independent. You know, you guys do summer fairs sometimes, right? You've got like a truck and you do summer fairs. And so what we do is we help support those individuals with the soft skills so that when they do go work, they're doing all the things that are necessary for somebody with employment. So we just, we're very happy to know that Richard's coming up here. We just opened a facility at the Marion Christian Center on Richland Road. And so we're excited. We're excited to, you know, have some more cooperative events with Richard. So did you want to say anything?
I think you nailed it.
So, does anybody have any questions for us? No, we're just we're very, very excited. Glad that this is all happening for Richard, and it's a positive endeavor, and it's something that's very much needed. Very, very, very much needed.
Thank you. Okay, so like I say, Gabriel and Brad and Joe, the big thing, they're going to feed you folks. So like I say, we have in tonight, like I say, what we're doing, and Tom, if you got anything you want to say in closing or whatever, feel free. We're going to start this now, like I say, trying to do this fundraising. What I would ask for you folks, like I say, check out our Facebook page because that gives you pretty much our life history. And send me a message. Or we have business cards, we got menus, and we got information about some of the stuff we do out front, as well as some of the things that Life Builders do. Please take that and contact me if you have questions, or if you have folks who are, you know, they want to know, they're interested. If anyone you know here in Marion in the developmental disability world, because I am still trying to meet all those folks and get something going because people, the main thing, I guess, is to get people to know, yes, we are serious, and yes, here's how we're going to do it, and how it can be done. And the thing is at J Gumbo's, like I say, we're going on 6 years, and we had, like I say, we enter a lot of contests. We go for a lot of grants. We actually got turned down once for a grant because they said it didn't make sense because it didn't cost enough. And this was something that Joe and I had talked about where, and they, administrative fee, there's like, how are you going to do that for so little? And I said, because we're doing it because we want to. We're doing it because we already have the infrastructure set up. And it basically, there's like, no, this should cost you like at least $150,000 just in admin. I was like, you know, that's just crazy. But they literally turned us down because we didn't waste enough money, or we weren't willing to wait. I mean, again, I would have, if they'd have told me I would have got it, I'd have been happy again and go out and buy a new truck. But that's just the way that it, you know, the way that it goes. So, like I say, what we're doing, and again tonight, I will not turn you down, but what, like I say, what these work at. Now you can pass these around. You guys can look at them. They are not, like I say, because I can't run afoul of banking laws or the SEC. But basically, it's like your receipt. It's just kind of we people they sign up for them and. This is basically what they hold on to, and then when they're ready to turn them in, they turn them in. And like I said, I'm going to try to find some artists. I just read a story in the Marion Star about a tattoo artist that's doing something on one of the overpasses here. But to come up with some kind of, we want to make a real gift card that we use in the store. It looks like a little credit card that is reusable, but that's something that's commemorative, so people have something, hey, we really helped get this off the ground, and here's our proof. I say it's going to be numbered, 1 of 1,000, and we're going to, that's what we're going to go for. So as soon as we get enough seed money, to get going, so it's not a question of if, it's more a question of when. we're going to get going. So we're going to push this hard. And if anybody, that friends, loved ones, have questions about this, please have them contact me.
Hey, Richard, just real
Yes,
quick,
sir.
these are the certificates, correct?
Yes, sir.
So someone can buy one for $100?
Correct.
And then when the Marion location's open, they would bring that in and be able to use that at that time? Is that how that
Right. Well, we want them to hold on to them for a year. Again, just so, and then if they hold it beyond a year, we're going to pay monthly interest. So like you buy for 100, you hold it for, and I say 2 years, but the one guy, the one Mike Schnell, he's the DLR and your 95.1 different radio stations. He's the general manager for them. He was the first one to buy one. He probably doesn't even know where it is. He didn't have any intentions of turning it in, but he'll come in and get a free meal every so often. But yeah, we ask folks to hold on to it for a year. Again, that gives us a chance to hit the ground running, go through the hiccups of growing, have money in reserve. So if we have a lean month for whatever reason, the Farmer's Almanac is calling for an extremely bad winter. Bad weather usually works well for us, but if it's 10 inches of snow and 4 degrees, nobody's going anywhere. So if you have a week of that, then you got money in reserve to continue to pay the bills, and we're not worried about having a bad week or a bad month, and all of a sudden, we're in bad shape. But yeah, they'll hold on to them, and then they'll turn them in. We'll trade it in for a gift card that'll have the dollar amount. And if some folks did have a pastor actually in Delaware, he bought a couple. He actually used them when he turned them in, used them as gifts and gave them out to some of his staff and parishioners. So, what you do with them, like I said, they're kind of like a bearer bond in that, you can do with them what you want. We will have, and hopefully you don't lose it, but, we'll have a spreadsheet. We'll know who bought what, when, and so for some reason that time elapsed, and it's like, hey, I bought this thing, but I don't have a clue where I put it. We can look it up, and we know exactly when you bought it and what it's worth, and we'll take care of that as well.
And have you sold one for Marion yet?
No.
Okay,
You'll be the first one.
I've been dreaming to be the Mike Snow of the Marion location. So
okay.
I'm officially part of the store.
All right. Well, good deal.
I'm editing that out of the video,
it's a real
too.
check. It's a real check. All right. So we will get you taken care of before we leave.
Thank you, sir.
We are going to be doing business, too. Our banking, like I said, will be, this restaurant will be Marion's restaurant. We will open up with a local bank, probably Union Bank, since he's staring at me. But we'll open up with a local bank, so, and not that we'll be telling people, but, folks that come in, we don't have open books for the general public, but, you'll be able to come in, hey, how are things going? And like I said, the different things that we do in the community, folks can see. We don't run it high. We're gonna staff it, with Marion folks. Now, we'll say, there will be a manager in there. Depending we get trained, we don't know yet because we're not that far along. But whomever it is, whether they start out as a Marion person, if they're not, they're going to be a Marion person. It's not going to be I'm going to be driving from Hilliard or whatever, because community involvement is a big part of what we do. So staff is going to be, people you're going to see everywhere. Yes, sir.
So this is the launch of this fundraiser.
This is the launch. Yeah, this is it. So.
Do you have a vision about how the campaign itself?
Well, one thing that we're going to keep talking about it. Like I say, Tom is actually videoing this, so we'll use splurges of that. We're going to keep hitting the media and try to pick that up. Like I say, I'm hoping that we're going to be blessed and find out from SCORE that we're one of their grand champions, and we will get some airplay from that, and we'll also use that to bolster, what we're doing here. And like I said, our biggest thing, is you folks, just, tell your friend, hey, it's all, even if you don't do it, it sounds pretty cool, meet him, talk to him, because it's, this is something that it's my passion for what, I don't know why. I was not, I like restaurant. I love what we do. I can't explain why, I just do. But Marion, like I say, I love Marion. Marion's been a cool town. Like I say, we've been coming to town for about 4 years. It started off at the Ohio State. They do the International Day. That's how we got involved with coming to Marion as a business. And then I've just met a lot of cool people here. It's a lot of similarities to Delaware, but I see a lot more perks here. And I truly think a restaurant here would do better than the one we have in Delaware. There's just more opportunity here.
So as investors, we'd be ambassadors to help
Absolutely. That's what we need. Yeah, I call them lightning rods, and we got a couple folks in Delaware that they're always. There's one lady, and I feel bad because I can never remember her name because she has a Facebook account with a fake name, and so I call her Naomi. But Naomi, she's like, you know, Naomi, it's not my name. I'm like, no, that's the only name I've never known you as. But she's always sharing our stuff and telling people about us, and like I say, she possibly could have come in if she's like a very private person, but she really likes what we do and she pushes us. Barb Lewis, one of our Delaware County commissioners, she's very supportive. A lot of folks has disabilities, mental illness, a lot of, it touches people, it may not be them directly, but a lot of folks that we deal with have adult children or grandchildren. So even if for whatever reason that they can't eat the food, because it's too spicy and everything's not spicy, but for whatever reason, they will still talk us up and they will still bring people in, and they may, we do salads and we do that kind of stuff too. All right. Questions, comments? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So as an ambassador, when we leave here today, if we share this, how will they contact or get started?
I have business cards outside that has our, I'll make sure they got our Facebook thing, but the easiest way through Facebook, everything comes through my phone. So, I mean, they can email, they can call the restaurant, like say, unless I'm running around doing this, I'm usually at our restaurant in Delaware. I'm very easy to find, and I will come, and we're in and out of Marion a lot for, like say, my son's taking dance classes here, so he's here every Tuesday evening. He's actually going to be in the Popcorn Festival. So I say this is one thing that we are serious. Like, so right now I live, I got a mortgage, so I'm right outside of Delaware, but we are going to become, part of Marion. Our folks in Delaware are going to help, train the folks in Marion, and it's a culture. Like I say, we're not just trying to be the best restaurant. I mean, it's a cultural thing. And like I say, really our mission aligns with a lot of what they're trying to do in downtown Marion and just with the resurgence of Marion. So I think the timing is just perfect for it.
So you're looking to be downtown?
That was...
Like on Delaware Avenue where there's needs?
No, well, we are not locked in anywhere. My heart, I like, we're in downtown Delaware. I like the downtown. One thing I like about the Marion downtown is the band right around it. A lot of folks socioeconomically that we're going to touch, if we were downtown, could be within walking distance. Now, if we find a great spot, because part of what we're going to do here, we're going to really push is the commercial side or the catering side, because there's a lot of manufacturing and a lot of folks that some have cafeterias, some don't. We do things like saying, and we are very, I was in Dallas earlier in the year through the SCORE competition, and one of the speakers, his biggest thing is, if you want to be successful, you got to be willing to do what your competitors won't. And my wife will attest. We do a lot of stuff. Like we got next month, we've been going out to Target Distribution in West Jefferson. They pay us well to be there, but part of the deal is on Mondays we are there at 10 in the morning and at 10 at night, which means I work from 6 in the morning to 1 the next morning. But they make it worth a while to do it. There are opportunities. We've had a lot of folks call us at the hospitals, like, man, if you guys would just come out here third shift, you'd make a lot of money. I said, we'll do it. So for that reason, I say, because we can be about anywhere in town, it makes that. I just want to make sure that we're in a good spot that, there's going to be foot traffic, because I don't want to make a bad decision. We've been fortunate enough. I've learned, like I said, in Delaware, a lot of people thought I was crazy for moving 100 feet, but that 100 feet has made 10% increase in our business just because of what I learned from the mindset of folks, they're in town. So if they're... Yes, yeah, we have a trailer that it's just basically it's a smaller version, it's a mobile restaurant, and we do take that out to folks. A lot of times we'll just cater, just like we can just pack stuff up. The nice thing is our food is really mobile, so I mean we have an advantage over a lot of restaurants in that literally, and Joe can attest, our restaurant is literally mobile. We used to do the Ostrander 4th of July. And before we had the trailer, literally we closed on July 3rd, and we took our restaurant apart and moved it to Ostrander to the ball fields for the 4th of July. And it was and it was financially worth it. And then we cleaned it up, and the next July 5th, we were back open, and the restaurant's back to, actually had a customer call me thinking we went out of business because he saw us moving the restaurant. I'm like, no, we're just, they invited us out, we're going, and it's a lot more fun, easier with the trailer, but, we can't just load our stuff up in the back of a truck and take it where it needs to go. Yeah. All we need is water and electricity, and we're good to go. Oh, you're good. I see any other comments? Because I want to feed you folks. Gabriel and Brad and Joe wants everybody to eat. Okay. I mean, we can still, and feel free, like I say, Matthew, and it's cool because it's like you're in a room full of friends. So if you have any other questions of Ann or Deidre or like say Matthew at Union Bank, and not even about us, just, he loves to lend money, he keeps telling me. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry I came in late.
That's okay.
But we've been to the one in Delaware also.
Mm-hmm.
But where are you thinking about putting the one here?
Well, we don't have a site selected. Like say my head says downtown is not the way to go today, but that's where my heart's at, and I think we can make it work. But we are open to look around. I mean, 95, of course, is where the money's at, but that's also where the high rents are. And what I don't want to do is put us in a position where, you're making, $2,000 a day, but you have a bad week, but you still got to pay, $8,000 in rent plus CAM charges and all the other stuff that don't go away. So I am not totally familiar with all the areas. I've been talking to a lot of locals as to where and why they think we should place. I've been geared towards downtown, but we're not locked in. We don't have a lease or anything, so we're not locked in. I know that there's plans for the south side. I just don't know how soon that's going to happen. We can always move. That's one thing. We can come to a place, again, our restaurant is very easy, not that we want to jump around a lot, but I mean, if we're at one location and a new location is much better, we can move.
You're kind of a destination too, though, because you have a following.
Yeah, folks. I mean, we have right now a good 10 to 15% of our business in Delaware is Marion folks and folks around Marion County and even, Bucyrus and that way. Right. I mean, we would love something with it. My wife is always saying, find a drive-through, which, and I totally agree with. In downtown spaces, those are tougher. Parking is always psychologically an issue for folks. So, finding that totally correct place, can be kind of tough. But we also, again, we try to collaborate with our neighbors. In Delaware, we had a great relationship with our next door neighbors that had a parking lot that goes into our back door. Unfortunately, my landlord that I have no control over ticked off all of my neighbors, so we're collateral damage now, and we lost out on that. But I've talked to, a lot, because we've been doing a farmer's market, and we've talked to a lot of folks downtown, and they're excited to have more options downtown. I realize, I've come downtown, 7 in the morning just to see what would be happening. I've come down at 7, 8 at night, and a lot of times it's, it is kind of desolate. But like I say, for us and for the folks, because we'll have time, especially now, it's a little different, of course, because the college is out on 95, but like when Ohio Wesleyan is in season, we'll have a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday where we may be doing fundraisers with them. And college kids love to eat. I mean, they will bring in we'll do quadruple the business, and we'll give them 10%. But I mean, we can do a Monday night, Tuesday night, we'll do quadruple the business that we'll normally do just because they're trying to raise money for a spring mission trip that they do. And for those, and they'll go. Now, you got to be closer for them, but those type of things, I'm sure there's a lot of groups around here that have followings that want to do fundraisers. And we sit down with folks and they get, we'll bring in different, in addition to our food, some people, we got to bring additional food. We do have, like I said, in the one video, you saw Joe in there, for folks with dietary restrictions, we do have, some gluten-free options, some vegetarian and vegan options. We do offer salads. So we offer those type of stuff. And we've done joint stuff with other restaurants just so that everybody makes money. That kind of things we'll do. But again, I really push, like I say, the family, small kids, but even folks that don't have kids, I would like a space too, back to your question, where I looked at one space out on 95 that kind of had like a play area or just like a little barrier. So if you got a few little noisy kids in there, you can still come in and eat your dinner and have conversation and not be too totally, disrupted by that. But if also, like I said, if folks are, real estate people, if you know of something, I was hoping Alex would be here tonight. There's one guy, he's buying up property around town, and we've talked, and he's trying to work with me on some stuff too.
Are you looking to lease or buy?
Lease rights, I ain't got no money, I ain't buying. Buying would be great. There's a lot of control when you own, but yeah, and a lot of our leases, or not a lot, we have one. I always try to do the lease where we have first option, on the buildings if they go up. I would like to be in a position in Marion to buy soon because I think values are going to be going up. So, we're trying to lock in for long term. Yes, sir.
My wife's on a low-carb diet. What do Gumbos, for people who are on low-carb diets?
What we tell a lot of folks to do is, I thought you were going to answer. Go ahead. Oh, no, okay. No, because you eat there. He does. Yeah. Well, I mean, the rice, because one thing that, like I say, we serve traditionally over white rice. Now, tonight I actually brought some brown rice. There's not much difference in carb count with that. But we have some folks, like they'll do stuffs over nachos, over salad greens, and we can mix it. One thing about our menu, we can mix it up or just do it without rice. I got one guy, he comes in twice a week. He just says he doesn't do the rice or the bread. He just has bumblebee stew and honey sriracha chicken with green onions. So we can mix it to make it, to lower the calories, lower the carb. We can do that for you.